Hello, welcome to Wrestling in Mom's Basement. This is going to be our. I know, it's so strange that I screwed up on that because we haven't done one in a while. Our weekly TV reviews for the week of September 4th. I, of course, Pat Young. This gentleman to my right is my co host, Joe Peter.
Take things off on roll was Jey Uso's thing. Jey Uso moved on.
Yeah, so we get confirmation at the at the previous pay-per-view of Payback that Jey Uso was coming to Raw, and here he was to ingratiate himself to the Raw roster, which was only like Sammy that actually liked that he was there.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense that people won't trust.
It does.
After 3 years of torture. Moving on, Viking Raiders defeat the first two guys that did except Jay, Drew McIntyre, and Matt Riddle, and tornado tag.
Yeah, I thought this one was a really good tornado tag here. I'm also really happy that the Viking Raiders actually picked up a win here because they barely win anything except like the Viking rules match, or
Yeah.
except that really. But it's nice that they got a big win over big time stars in this case instead of just taking the loss.
Yeah, it was the usual Wild Brawl. That's just basically done version of a street fight. The Kofi interference going the wrong way opens up some doors, as we were likely headed to a triple threat tag team match, but Riddle got sexually assaulted, we think. In an airport in New York.
That's true.
So, it's a story that's been going for a few weeks now. It's a loose Steve, so well done putting things together well enough. Unfortunately, Riddle had the Riddle. Unless Ricochet defeats Shinsuke Nakamura by DQ.
Yeah, it was an okay match.
Yeah, they only had so much time here, like 9 minutes. But there's something to be said about Ricochet as Rollins' buddy, as he can't hold his own against a lot of people. The only that helps that theory is the lack of a pin here now for him, as Ricochet was in trouble but lost via DQ. That helped quite a bit. For some reason, they still overlooked that post-match Nakamura had to cheer wrapped around Ricochet's neck, but Seth came out to save him, and then Nakamura took a few steps back in his steps, and Ricochet saved Seth with the cheer. And then we cut to the back where Rhea was telling Damian Priest on tonight for the match. And up next, Zoe Stark, Shane Baszler defeats Zoe Stark.
Well, this match was pretty good. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of Zoe just turning on Trish and then immediately taking a loss, but there seems to be some sort of mutual respect storyline angle going on with Shayna and Zoe, so we'll see where that leads.
Yeah, this is a good example of a match that probably should have been made. You had Baszler get the big win at SummerSlam, but then Stark got her big moment 2 days prior. But both of them need to follow up with things. Losing the match means one them. It's probably gonna have to lose. So I don't know why you do it in the first place in this case.
Yeah.
When there was somebody else technically that Shayna could have beaten. Up next, Raquel Rodriguez squashed Chelsea Green.
There you go. Well, we find out through this whole thing that Raquel is getting another shot at Rhea this coming week. So she wasn't going to take a loss here. And Chelsea is usually entertaining enough in a squash, so.
Chelsea, I know she's not one of the woman tag champs, and there's a woman in the back, but in this case, the way they set up, it worked fine. Up next, Miz had Miz TV with John Cena. Meme.
Yeah. Essentially, it was the John Cena meme where you can't see him. Yeah. It was a lot more entertaining than it sounds. It was Miz making his own point or what have you. But essentially, he ends up beating up the non-existent John Cena.
Yeah, it was certainly different. Not sure if that's good or not, but it's certainly different. Knight versus Miz though doesn't really need a second match actually this week on SmackDown though. I will say I don't know why that part's continuing between LA Knight and Miz. Fact is it a good sign for LA Knight? I don't think. Or Miz really.
Yeah.
I don't know why Miz needs to lose a second match to him, or why LA Knight losing old right now. Next, JD McDonough defeated Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I'm happy JD gets the win here, but Sammy sort of does clean house with him and Finn now. Oh, him and Dominic, yeah.
Yeah, not a bad match, but don't get an immediate win. McDonough's been up and down throughout his time on the main roster so far, so this is the next step up for him. At the same time, the back-to-back falls for Sammy, because he lost the titles on Payback. He's mostly been all-proof, but he also doesn't need to lose over and over as well. And the main event for your title, Gunther defeated Chad Gable on my match of the week.
Yeah, this would have been match of the week on pretty much any week you can think of. This was spectacular. I love the story between Gable and Gunther. The match was hard hitting. They had Gable's kids crying in the front row. They had just about everything. I'm probably gonna get on the Gable train here, as he's probably gonna be the person that eventually does dethrone Walter or Gunther. Probably in the next couple months, I would say. Although I wouldn't necessarily hate Gunther also just plowing straight through and just setting the record.
Yeah, they were rolled by the end and made the most out of a rough situation, meaning like you knew Gable wasn't killing somebody.
Yeah.
Even though WWE build up throughout the night, as he had a chance. Gunther's going over the year's champion, and they broke the record officially on Friday, I believe it was. So there's no reason to take a toll from there. So Gable was tasked with making the most out of a rough situation. Had got a fight here near the end, especially. But this was the only way it should have gone. Overall, for Raw was a bit of a tire show, where multiple stories run throughout the show. That made for a good night. As you can see where multiple stories are probably going. I didn't really get into the backstage stuff because these things run long now because it's 6 shows.
Yes.
I will say really none of the backstages were probably of interest this week. Oh, the only one that may be of interest was Dominic trying to convince Jay that they've both been treated the same by their families and joined the Judgment Day. That would probably be the only one I probably should have skimmed over.
And to piggyback off of what Joe said, please, no one add another show. And particularly, I'm looking at you, Impact. Don't add a second show.
A second 2-hour show.
Do not.
Because if it's a 2-hour show, kind of had logic. This is going to be considered major.
Yeah. Whatever you do not add a second 2-hour show.
But comment down below if you want us to watch Ring of Honor too. I'll buy it.
Fuck no.
Because that runs longer than all these shows.
They would be doing everything that we're doing now, at least a 3-hour pay-per-view each week. all of these, which is like 17 hours of television.
It's 14.
Yeah, but now we would have Ring of Honor attached, so it would be.
It's 17.
So it would be the 20 hours just on its own.
So you want Ring of Honor? All right, I'll buy it for $10 a month. We're getting Honor Club.
Maybe I'm a little overestimating, but still, it's
we're watching Honor Club. We're getting Honor Club. Yeah, all right.
Please no.
I'm down for you. Yeah, oh wait, that's going to Christmas gift to you. That's subscription now.
I'm good.
Okay. That made for a good night. We're on top they had a good main event as Gunther was all but guaranteed the record for longest recall time all time. Solid show here, which is better coming off very good but pretty unimportant pay-per-view at the same time.
Yeah.
NXT kicked off with Tiffany Stratton defeating Kiana James to retain the Women's Championship.
I mean, it was like 3 minutes, 4 minutes,
5 minutes.
5 minutes. But I thought they did pretty good with what the time they were given here.
Yeah, this had time to go anywhere. And again, the teases of Stratton versus Becky Lynch, there wasn't much reason to believe that James was a serious threat. That being said, she did well in her biggest match ever, and so to see NXT giving her quick moves like this. Kiana's talented. but they might have something special with Tiffany, and thankfully they seem to know that. And then post-match, Becky Lynch pops up on screen to say she'll be here next week for a shot of the women's title. That escalated quickly. Up next, Ilya Dragunov defeated Laura Mensa.
Yeah, pretty much a bit of an extended squash here.
Yeah, they beat each other up here, but Dragunov has a good shot beating the next one contender. That made this a little more than a warm-up match before he has to chase to get the title shot. So, as this ones it should have. Dragunov's being feud with the metaphor could be interested and go for Mensa to start to go and go. Then post-match, Wesley interrupted. They argued over who would get the next title shot. As Carmelo Hayes interrupted last week, he told to Shawn Michaels. And next week, tomorrow night, is Dragunov versus Lee for the No Mercy title shot. Well, that was efficient. And Global Heritage Invitational Group B, Nathan Frazier defeated Duke Hudson. Actually, I squashed Duke Hudson, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he kind of did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine while it lasted. Although, since Duke is more of a name, I'm not sure why it was mostly in Nathan's Nathan's favor here.
Yeah, they didn't have time to do anything here with only 2 minutes, but Frazier gets the Survivor tournament. Now put in for the standings in that group, Joe Colby's in first place 1-0. Nate Frazier and Duke Hudson are tied 1-1, and Tozawa is 0-1. Up next, Tyler Bate squashed Dabba-Kato.
Yeah, and another strange squash here. I didn't know that Tyler Bate was going to squash a giant. I mean, I see it, because how talented Tyler Bate is, but usually you don't want them to squash giants, because that giant could go on to do something. If I'm Dabba-Kato, I wouldn't pick up the phone.
Yeah, they went from slow to blazing in about a minute, because the match was like 2 minutes. So, as KO loses again, me and he'll luckily be crushing people in this. or you're going somewhere else. Up next, Mustafa Ali defeated Dragon Lee to become the #1 contender for the North American.
This was pretty good. It mostly involved Dom antics, so the match is only going to be so good because they did have to focus on that. Otherwise, a fine affair, though.
Yeah, they got a lot there. I'm shocked. In 5 minutes. And definitely Dominic was too much of a factor until the end. Now, there was a problem, though, as Ali really needs to win the title. And there's this much of a build-up.
Yeah.
But taking the title for Dominic also doesn't make sense either. Business sense. It was an exciting match. Then a triple threat seems likely after that finish.
Yeah.
Especially where we thought Ali was a heel this whole time, but he didn't want to win that way and he knocked out Dom. So Ali is babyface. Up next into my match at night, Global Irish Invitational Group A, Axiom drew with Bush.
Yeah, this one was really good. We got a bit of a longer match here on NXT, which probably was my match of the night. Yeah, so we actually got them being able to flex the tournament length and have something over 5 minutes. Yeah,
this one was the full 12. Yeah, these two had a good match, and I'm not really sure anyone was expecting anything else. They are the kind of guys who can have a good match with anyone, so it's great to see them get some time. I like the time limit rule here too, as it plays into the tournament scored while also protecting both of them from the loss. I would pass them, so I should like to. The Group A standings right now. Butch is in lead with 1-0-1. Axiom's in second place at 0-0-1. Tyler Bate has not wrestled all of his matches yet, so he's in third place at 0-0. And Charlie Dempsey's in last place at 0-1. But what you got in the next coming weeks in this bracket are Tyler Bate versus Charlie Dempsey, Tyler Bate versus Axiom, which is this week, and Tyler Bate versus Butch.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's gonna be pretty. If they give them enough time, that's gonna be pretty epic for.
And Axiom and Charlie Dempsey too.
Yeah.
Also. which probably beats Ty Bate and Bush and Shawn Michaels might be able to level up. Up next, the heel defeat Gigi Dolan.
Yeah, they're continuing the peer pressured Thea Hale storyline with JC in her corner. This time she is peer pressured to fighting Gigi Dolan.
Yeah, they were starting to get something together here with submissions and counters, but there's only so much you can do with about 3.5 minutes. I take up with the idea of a darker theme now, as the nearly psychotic student was only going to go on for so long.
Yeah.
A big reunion with Chase U down the line could be great, but for now, the thing is using this to grow, and that is a good thing. And the main event, Braun Breaker defeated Von Wagner in an ODQ match.
Yeah, Braun got the win here, but Von actually did a good performance with him, and also put him through the table, and then got his brain squashed by the steps.
And Booker saying he did
And Vic calling Braun a son of a bitch.
Is this a way of suspending Braun from NXT?
Maybe?
And he goes out like that?
Maybe?
Because he really needs to be called soon, right? I feel like we're just wasting time with him now.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah, this was more of a wild brawl. But a lot of what Wagner did was struggle before the spear for the pin. That's the weird way to do it. At the same time, Breaker was still Wagner on the NXT food chain. And it's too early for Von to be getting that kind of win.
Yeah.
Or at least until he drops it, you get table nonsense. Oh, I forgot to apply to her earlier tonight, and yeah, he looked like he was having sex with a not table the way he was talking to. So you know what?
It did look like he had a very, 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 very hard fascination with that table.
You know what? If that story is all true, and he really did have a brain tumor type injury as a baby, I feel bad for him. But he really deserved to get his brain scrambled for one to have sex with a not table. I want to say
think of like the Trish vignettes where she was trying to seduce Bubba with the table.
Yeah, I will think of that, but they were way better.
Yeah, but train Trish with Von Wagner, and instead of trying to seduce Bubba, he's trying to seduce the table.
I think the Trish ones were a little better.
They were, yeah. And a little bit more PG.
Yeah. Dynamite kicked off with Orange Cassidy tells us he doesn't have a catchphrase. Then Dynamite kicked off for the international title. Let alone that's Orange Cassidy came out to say.
I think the more important thing was he's here and he's gonna be here. Because he was there every week for the international title.
Punk, gotcha.
Yeah.
International title, John Moxley defeated AR Fox.
Yeah, this one was a fine match.
Yeah, as usual, Fox got in all his flashy moves and flips look good enough that there was no one Mox was going to lose here. The more important story here, though, is Nick Wayne and Darby Allin different ways of looking at AR Fox. That's going for some interesting directions, but might take some time to get there. Then post-match, Christian told Nick Wayne to say hi to his mom. Up next for the TBS title, Chris Statlander defeated Emi Sakura.
Yeah, Chris Statlander gets a 1 in Dynamite.
Yeah, well, it made Sakura look great until the end where Chris got like about 2 moves. Well, matters is that Chris won, but it was we're waiting for the champion to be presented in 4 minutes. Emily's someone who has all kinds of talent, but she just kind of dropped in the ring the match this time. This fair looked good, though. I'm not sure why Chris kind of got into some more offense before the win. Up next, probably my match of my like Sex Scouts defeated Aussie Open.
Yeah, probably is my match of the night too. Yeah, overall a solid tag team match here, but I continue. They get the win, but they also continue the story that they don't really trust each other.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure why Aussie Open didn't just pick up the win.
That part I will agree with. Yeah. Yeah, this was a good match between two talented teams of the Aussie's Bay Run, Aussie's Open's Bay Run. Those continue. Jericho saving team to get regular some of that makes sense. The tension in the middle doesn't do well for the future, obviously. Pretty good, nice match that they kept the MJF. Up next, MJF and Samoa Joe's promo.
This probably was my favorite thing on Dynamite altogether. As Max gets to now flex his babyface muscle before 2024, and Samoa Joe is very underrated on the mic. So you actually had a really fun time here, and Joe, he may not be known for his mic skills again, but he held his own perfectly fine with MJF in the ring, who can be quick-witted and devastating with his barbs. But Joe didn't play that game.
Yeah, good showdown here, and Joe is certainly a freshman.
He is.
Great slide on more contenders tournament first round. Roger Strong defeat Trent Riot.
Well, yeah, that checks out, because odds are Roderick Strong is either going to win the tournament or lose in the finals to Samoa Joe.
Yeah, these two worked well together, and once I see Ryan get back in the ring, I'm not following on things he's been doing, as you know, with Adam Cole. But he can still go in the ring with almost saying, well, they had good matches. I see something a bit clearer and rather than all the shenanigans that usually take place. Tony Storm told Renee to keep her chin up and piss it out for her show, and look out for the shoe and issue for the shoe. Up next, was Swerve and Hangman's promo.
Yeah, well, at least Hangman gets to do something that he wasn't on, that he didn't necessarily have a program for himself in apparently the biggest week in AEW. Which he had a tag team match, but why don't you just follow it up with, like, I don't know, a singles match? Because, you know, you literally put the card together, like, that week. And Hangman was just put on the Battle Royal.
That was the start of this feud.
Apparently this is the start of that feud.
Because it came down to him and Brian Cage. Which would be one of Swerve's guys.
Yeah. That's a weird-ass roundabout way to get him into the feud.
Right. Now, as I see Swerve doing something important, so I figured I'd go fit now. So, anyway,
No, Hangman probably wins.
Yeah, I thought Swerve held up his head. Don't go to the mic.
I actually thought he was better on it than Hangman.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. Brian Cage was indeed here, I will say that, though, the beatdown part. But Prince Nana getting the dance to Swerve's music was worth it. So, there.
That's true.
Well, just to go to Rampage tournament matches, Penta beat Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe beat Jeff Hardy to go to the semifinals. And main event, Great Sun Home Contenders Tournament first round, Darby Allin defeated Nick Wayne.
Yeah, this match was fine. I'm not sure why you make it your main event, as Nick Wayne is 18 years old, and I don't know, maybe let's test him out in the middle of the card before we give him main event slots. And no, I'm not talking about just one-off matches.
Is he the damn Garcia 2024?
He might be. Although I'd say, why don't you have Daniel Garcia in this instead of, the guy who just showed up 3 weeks ago?
They never put their big names, huge names in the championship tournaments.
No.
Because they don't want nobody to lose.
Well, yeah, but then you also know people who've been there for, I don't know...
A minute.
Yeah, a minute. I mean, I think I've had bowel movements longer than Nick Wayne has been on the AEW roster at this point.
I think I've had bowel movements longer than he's been alive.
It's true.
You don't want to go with me, baby. Well, except for the 2300 over Nick, but you won't catch me doing nothing. You won't catch me selling that toilet. Anywho.
Even there's better places to poop.
Yeah, I know. Just for warning first, if you're going to show your WrestleMania. And you're going to say.
Just letting you know that one of the stalls doesn't have a door. And that's by design.
Right, not research.
Yeah.
And the first stall, just to let you know, I unlocked it last year. I had it busted down my shoulder. Same night I fell too walking home. So. It hurt, just that shoulder. Or maybe the same weekend, but that was the night before. Yeah, it was the first Impact show.
Yeah.
First Impact show I get stuck in the bathroom. Second one I fall.
Yep.
I have not gone to an Impact show since. Yeah, I'm still not.
Well, it doesn't help that they haven't really come.
Well, they just came. There you go. Because of that reason. Because I'm cursed.
Well, no, you were away.
That's right. Yeah, I'm still not seeing with Nick Wayne, who feels like someone could do the flips a little more. Having Darby not to hurt his friend was fine. But I saw how much the reason to care about Nick himself.
Yeah.
Good enough main event, and Darby win is the right way to go, obviously, but they're leaning heavily on Nick, and I'm not sure it's working.
Well, I mean, it's going to sound harsh, but all we do know is that his dad passed away.
Yeah.
That's really the big thing we know, and then he's Darby's friend.
Team Christian involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, this is a show where the wrestle didn't matter, but rather they set things up for later. In that sense, the show was quite effective. As they built towards Grand Slam and perhaps even beyond that. Multiple stories were either set in the first place or advanced. I'm curious, I guess I was going to see some of those things go. It was a solid show. They can keep it up. Could be a nice stretch for a change. Going forward, they're avoiding backstage drama. But Santana and Ortiz are going out on Twitter about Punk was the problem.
Punk was the only problem.
So
don't look at our women's roster. CM Punk was the only problem.
Impact started off with the woman who seems like she's all but not resigning, according to Fightful. As
her deal's up in December, I heard.
And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I do think it's time for her to expand her horizons now. She's there. Deonna Purrazzo defeated Dani Luna.
I did like this match. I kind of wish they would do more with Dani Luna though. As she does have some talent to her, and she can be used in places since you are using subculture, which I'll get to later on that. But yeah, this was a really good start off to the show. Yeah,
I like this one well enough as we rarely see Dani in the ring on this show. She's the most complex wrestler in the world, but she does well with the power game. Deonna seems to move back into something bigger. Though that needs to be something other than facing Trinity and her ladies loss.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Up next, Joe Hendry and Yuya Uemura defeat Champagne Singh and Shira.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, this was almost all about the entrance of Julia. Their tag team. Which is, of course, incredibly catchy, as a test team that keeps having Joe Hendry music. It's a clever team. They got on the right foot here. I like Joe moving up a step, but he and Yuya have some good chemistry together in their limited interactions. Up next, my match I like, Sami Zayn. Okay, that's very good. Sami Callihan or Swan defeat Subculture.
Well, here's my subculture. What? Like I know you just sort of.
Actually, this was my match tonight. My bad.
Yeah, this was my match tonight too.
Was your match tonight?
As a match was pretty good.
I made a mistake. The next match is my match. The Leo Rush match. The next match.
Okay.
But, it was my match tonight.
Yeah, I like this one slightly more. The only problem with it is, can we find something for Subculture to do instead of just putting the titles on them, then sort of rushing, then sort of taking it off them, and then they're taking losses to the makeshift team?
Yeah, good stuff here, but that shouldn't be the biggest surprise. Subculture are showing they can work with anyone, and Rich and Sammy have done some good things together. While Barrister feels that they are actually building a division, and that's a nice flashback to the days of Impact's past. It can be done, and this is a nice way to boost a team that need the help of their staying team. Up next, Leo Rush defeated Kevin Knight in an X Division title. No, what's for the non-title match?
I did think this match was really good. Kevin Knight actually impressed me a little bit here because, well, the only thing I really known about him is that he is sort of just running around with Kenny King. Which okay.
It's not even one black guy. He's looking shit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's Sheldon G.
My bad. Well, I'm sorry, wrong black guy. I'm racist.
He used to be Japan.
Alright, so I know a little less about him than I did before. But yeah, he came in and impressed enough against the X Division champion, so.
Yeah, the more I see Knight, the more I like him. He's very athletic and can work facing style, which offers a real challenge for Leo Rush. There's only that get the win here, but having him hang in there with a name name is Smart might go. Give him some ways that he might have something with him. Rush already had Kushida the next time, but the road coming up though. And this is the kind of boost he needed for 12 defense. Up next was the contract signing for Victory between Alicia and Trini.
Yes, this was a contract signing, but with 90% more Alicia's annoying voice. And 10% more Trinity table spots, too.
Not a great contract signing.
No.
As Alicia is the most interesting challenger. The Blue Thunder bomb for table by Edwards and Trini was clean. But getting there was rough.
I had to literally turn down the volume on my iPad
for Alicia.
just so I can get through this damn thing.
Why was Alicia yelling at her?
I don't know.
Actually, the Trinity wasn't much better than Mike either. Neither one were. It was like over too. What's she from? The water on her face. And then like champagne, you know what I mean? And then Trinity's like this.
Took a while to get her hoops off.
She's blinded, mind you.
I may not be able to differentiate black people, but I know taking the hoops off when I see it.
Right, so she was taking her hoops off while blinded. But then she was like, she held her eyes for like a minute, and then she like stood up and could see, and kicked her in the head. And then when Eddie Edwards grabbed her, she couldn't see again. And then she was trying to fight both.
And apparently Eddie Edwards also took out Santino on their ramp.
Right, yeah, I don't want to see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they sort of went out as she was undoing her hoops, and then he came back in, grabbed her, and then put her through the table.
Yeah. Up next, Bully Ray and in the main event, Bully Ray and Steve Backlund defeat Josh Alexander and RPCO.
Yeah, I thought this one was a fine main event. Bully gets another win on, or I'm sorry, no, Macklin got the pin on PCO.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, they're sort of the more high profile match, as that match is all but for the number one contender spot.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't confirmed, but Josh Alexander did win clean next time.
Yeah, you would think.
So that was the end of their feud, because Josh Alexander did win clean in the main event for the road.
Yeah, it may telegraph that finish.
Actually, telegraph both finishes.
Yeah.
Because Bully gets destroyed by PCO, so.
Well, that feud more or less called for it.
Yeah, the match was good, but the Bully Ray wrestle itself, this was about good. Two of the big matches, probably the two biggest matches down in the road, in the ring together, and that's something that worked almost every time. Bully Ray didn't do much to PCO here as much as he called him, and that was going to be pain the next night, which it did. Overall, it was a nice way to get you ready for Victory Road, and that's what the show's supposed to do. Nothing overly horrible. Mine's Alicia's voice. She can't help but speak more of it. And I'll take that over a 2-hour stretch. While there were some parts I weren't so interested in Alicia's voice, there was enough that I could worth a look, especially if you were watching Victory Road. I wish Impact would spread these events so apart on YouTube. They're only like every 2 weeks they have them. That's the only thing. So they don't really get them, and they do build apart because they don't have reviews every month.
Yeah.
But I think they build them a little too close to one another.
They probably do, yeah.
SmackDown kicked off with Charlotte and Shotzi defeating Damage Control.
Yeah, this one was a perfectly acceptable tag team match here. With Shotzi getting a modicum of revenge on Bayley here. And also continues the. I'm not sure whether they were going for Charlotte or Asuka first, but it seems like now they're definitely moving over to Asuka and Io being Io's first title defense, as well as Asuka getting her full Kana look with the short hair. I'm not gonna look that gift horse in the mouth, so that I'm really looking forward to that one. So.
They've actually packed a lot into this one, and that's what I say. Not only did Shotzi get a win, but Bayley's second week in a row. As her return push continues. While Asuka vs. Io's on the horizon in 2 weeks on SmackDown. That's a good sign on both sides, and we could be in for some interesting stories and stuff. First blood around here, granted. It's hard to believe that with Charlotte looming. But it's better than nothing.
Again, I'm not gonna look a free Asuka Io match in the mouth.
That Charlotte's going to interfere to make a DQ for a triple threat.
Or Bianca, and then Bianca to make it a fatal four-way.
Right. Up next, LA Knight defeat Austin Theory.
Yeah, LA Knight wins. Yeah. Yeah, it's a solid outing here with a pipsqueak heel getting beat by LA Knight.
Yeah, they kept us moving here, and Mike getting all wins, all that matters. He's getting in the ring and he's beating people, which is a big step towards keeping people over. This very well-made setup, LA Knight and Cena versus Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and there are worse ideas out there for everyone. If that is where they're going, they're setting up well enough.
I don't know, Miz might be doing something with Cena too.
Right. Then I guess there was an important backstage on this one. Paul Heyman was backstage, where he was apparently very worried about who was getting traded over to SmackDown in the near future.
Yes.
For Jay, as if he's got a whiff of who's coming over. So if the way Heyman was reacting kind of changes my mind that it's real.
Yeah.
Also,
well,
it's
that in current events changes my
not
mind that it's real.
Now I am starting to lean a little bit into the Cody camp a little bit more now.
Yeah.
But it might not be for a while still. Because they didn't say what's happening right away. They just said. But I am starting to believe it might end up being Cody because Heyman's got a whiff that was somebody that he should learn about. And don't forget, the night after WrestleMania, Heyman was still worried about Cody coming after Roman when they had that backstage segment, I remember.
Yeah.
When Roman yelled at him about Brock, and Heyman said he was going to handle it. Yeah. They didn't go there right before they were going to go with Brock and Heyman because they still want Brock to be babyface in all this.
Mm-hmm.
But Heyman was still worried. But the other important point was that him and LA Knight burst in and interrupted. This is rematch with Miz X with the SmackDown. That is something I could do, though. He couldn't reveal to Heyman who's coming over because he has to talk to the head of the shows, which is him. But anyway. So it'd be like a Tony Khan meeting with the committee.
It's pretty much naming Triple H without naming Triple H.
No, it's Triple H on the phone. I think that's what I was just assume. That's who I'm
guessing, yeah.
And blah blah blah. That LA Knight and Heyman says we haven't been formally introduced, so they shake hands. Heyman was admiring nice work, yeah. He finished the catch was catchy. I recommend that knock the next time Heyman's all office. Or clear. Knight says yeah. Heyman backs a little bit from that. That's how they meet. I'm not sure if that's going anywhere. But LA Knight rubbing elbows with someone like Heyman is a great sign for him, though. So, Up next in my match tonight, Judgment Day defeated Braun and Bruce.
Yeah, this was definitely the best match on SmackDown. It got a good bit of time here, even with the Brawling Brutes not including Sheamus, which is usually the reason why Brawling Brutes matches go on a little bit, especially against upper crust stars and Damian Priest and Finn at this point. But yeah, they were able to get some time here, and it looks like they're rebuilding the SmackDown Tag Division side of things.
Yeah, I was expecting this to wrap up earlier than it did, like a 12 minute. It was like 12 minutes. But they kept going as it started, did a lot better than it ended. The Bruce still need to actually win something important in the near future. But for now, just hanging with the new champs and their numbers advantage, because they had Dom. It's going to be a way to go. Better match than I was expecting too. In the post-match, last year, the Street Profits came out and said the Bloodlines crumbling, but the Judgment Day aren't the ones taking their places them. Then, Rowan and I too, I did forget, I guess it was that Blood backstage too. Jimmy was trying to get back in the Bloodline. Heyman said, you're in, but you're not in with the Bloodline. You gotta go for Roman, blah, blah, blah. And then, Heyman walked up to AJ grabbed Heyman, Jimmy attacked him. And then, AJ and Heyman are able to coexist in the same scenes together. They're just professionals.
Hint, Elite. And CM Punk.
Right. Then it goes back down to this segment, which is kind of important too, maybe for the future. The OC was in the back when AJ came up to us where they were, when Jimmy attacked him, AJ knocked Anderson's phone out of his hands. While Anderson said he told AJ stay out of this. And that's how the OC's going to be. AJ wants to be out there alone, getting rid of a bunch of dead weight. Can often help. Well,
I mean, kinda, yeah.
Then up next in the main event, AJ Styles defeated Jimmy Uso.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised AJ actually got the win here, as he did show off that he was injured and at least feeling some effects to it. He was also outnumbered by whatever the bloodline is at this point. Well, minus Roman. So I actually more or less expected AJ to get the win here. Or I more or less expected Jimmy to get the win here over AJ, and then to continue the OC stuff. those he would come out late to help AJ or whatever. But now it's just AJ really standing tall. Which, okay, sure.
As usual, this was more with the Bloodlines. It was more of a story than anything. A match. AJ getting win is a good thing because he lost quite a bit in recent months besides the few carrying girls to get back on track. And he seems to get AJ back on track,
yeah.
girls. So he seems to be ready for a more prominent role. So he can use some ways. I think this was one reason why he won free to Finley too. Wasn't just like a role while he was here. Though I might catch some trees for this one, but I don't care. I think Jimmy continues to be able to do everything else. But I feel like as a singles, there's something missing from him. That makes Jay feel special as a singles.
Okay. I mean,
I know a lot of people are very confused right now with the Bloodline stuff. I am too a little bit. That's the disadvantage of Roman not being there.
yes.
The Bloodline stuff is always the interesting. Well, Roman's out there. And that's a little confusing because Jimmy's the one that turned, but now he pulls almost be the one that in the Bloodline. And they haven't really explained my theory, which I said to Pat Friday was, they said he was originally the one intended to be the right-hand man. Maybe that's where they go with it, but with Roman out there, it's not going to be there for a while. I can see where people are a little, like, not burning out, but kind of like aren't really into the Bloodline stuff necessarily right now. And then you got, and when Roman wasn't there, the other interesting characters was Jay. And now Jay's away from it.
Yeah.
So now, other than Heyman, Solo's silent for the most part, and Jimmy. The time away 3 years ago did kind of hurt Jimmy.
As it showed off how good Jay is on his own.
Yeah, and that was one team I never thought they were like LOD to me. No, not as opposite one count. They were like LOD that says you can never separate them.
Mm-hmm.
They would never be single stars. But Jay proved that role. And I think they might see that. I think that's why they're trying to put Jimmy back in the... They might be going the way of putting Jimmy just back in the Bloodline.
Yeah.
It is because
they don't know what else to do with him.
Yeah. So it was a good enough match. To me, he wrestled the match as like a tag guy wrestling a singles match. Not a standout singles performance for him, like Jay did all those years ago when he was starting out in singles. That's what it feels like to me. And he was in there with one of the best in the world to do that opportunity with. And he felt like he was a tag team guy wrestling a single star. Not a single star wrestling a single star. So it wasn't good enough match here, but I felt more like it was the next step in a bunch of other stories, which then leads to Judgment Day jumping AJ Hansen off to Solo, who hits the spike, and then Solo looked down Judgment Day to end the show. Not look down them, like they were out. They were standing right outside the ring, and he looked over the rope at them. Trying to see how I can describe SmackDown right now, in general. Okay, for me, it's kind of like Marvel after all the Avenger movies. Like Endgame.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I think everything they're doing is okay. Enough, and I care about the people. But I feel like right now, SmackDown has stopped being a must-see show for WWE right now.
It has, yes.
I think that's Raw and even NXT starting to do stuff that is starting to feel must-see for them. I feel like SmackDown's taking a backseat right now. It's not being must-see, it seems to be something that is continuing after the show wrapped up. And I'm not talking about the Bloodline show that wrapped up. But I'm talking about Jimmy trying to get back in the Bloodline. Probably should have been wrapped up. It's not bad, but it's not that interesting. It's certainly not must-see. Maybe Judgment Day can help it a bit. Though, until Roman comes back, it's really hard to get invested. Because I feel like you can tell the creative team's kind of at the end of the road with the Bloodline.
Yeah.
But we gotta wait till WrestleMania to give Cody his crown moment. As for the rest of the show, there was a good bit of LA Knight, and fantasy, and that is what a fantasy one goes, so that's good. And with the Bloodline starting to fold, I see the Judgment Day, and LA Knight, and AJ, and Lashley, and company building things up. Lashley and company building things up. But I think that's quite stretched their shoulders to what they were doing before on SmackDown. With Roman. It was an entertaining show, but I think we're in the middle of a transitional period right now on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
As I think it's making for some slightly awkward moments on the SmackDown side of things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point.
It's like Marvel. It's still better than DC, but you kind of get burned out too with superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, still better than the DC shit. And they play out. Well, that's still not the most, other than like Guardians of the Galaxy, which I haven't seen yet. Find out those interesting shit.
Yeah.
And then Collision kicked off with the international title. John Moxley defeated Action Andretti.
Yeah, this one was a fine match as Action got to show off some stuff here, but he ends up getting choked out by John Moxley, so.
Yeah, Andretti got some offense here, but this was about getting Moxley out here for the showcase. The Ohio fans Luther said this was more the old Moxley than anything else. It's okay to get Moxley on the show for a moment like this, as this is like Andretti was a serious challenger. Up next on TBS title, Chris Statlander defeated Robin Berenguer.
Yeah, this one was a fine match here, but I think what's going to be remembered is who returns after the match and Jade Cargill. That's not a good challenge. Both matches were good challenges, I believe they said. So it wasn't exactly for all stuff. This one, Statlander getting on TV is a good thing. Going over something close to handicap match work. But these title matches, for the sake of hand, title matches only have so much interest. Statlander needs someone other than an Outcast to fight sooner than later. Post-match should be done as well, but Jade Cargill returned for the save. That should be Statlander done as well. And that will be what we call. There you go.
And that will be what we call sooner. That is what we call sooner than later.
Sure.
Now next, I guess it was important. We get a sit-down interview between Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli and Tony Schiavone.
Yeah, it sort of continues the story and at least explains why, particularly, Eddie Kingston has a problem with Claudio, which we're getting about 6 months into their start of their interactions.
Well, at least we're getting it.
Well, I guess we're getting it.
AEW starting to tell stories. Look at that.
Yeah. I did think this was a solid promo here, as Kingston was hyper and Claudio was cool and calm, which it seems that Claudio's disrespect to him is affecting Eddie, and even made a rash decision of putting his title on the line as well at Grand Slam. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, it's nice to see them fighting again. But this is not until Casey wins our title or the Fusion's drop. So Oz Artist is that it comes. The Bullet Club, Gold, without Jay White. It was just the 8-man time by Jay White coming here for personal reasons. Bullet Club Gold defeated Gravity, Our Star, Dio Stella, and From Mundo. Sure, I don't know what I said. And Cardboard Jay White. That's what they called him. Cardblade was on commentary.
Yeah, this was a fine trios match here with Bullet Club Gold getting the win, like we all expected.
Here's your 3 luchadors doing dodge match with the club getting a bit of a showcase win. That's all needed to be, and they were in and out quickly as they should have been for something like this. It was only like 6 minutes. The club were focal points of Collision. And it's good to see them doing their thing, even though it wasn't quite the same with Jay White not being around. CJ Perry is ready to become the coldest manager of wrestling again, and it was a great vignette for her.
Yeah.
Or promo from her, let's just say. As she talked about how Mirror changed when he won the TNT title and all that. The Dark Order wants you to join.
The Dark Order again, I guess.
Down by my infantries. Well, that died by infiltration show. Up next, Ray Phoenix defeated Helico. There's a name you haven't heard in like 5 years. I was like...
I mean, which one?
In Helico.
Well, yeah. Yeah, this one was a solid match. You don't get to see Angelico that often. And I guess this was a nice treat.
Nice ride.
Yeah, hopefully with Brian. I liked Angelico before from Lucha Underground. Thought he can do some fun things.
Oh, if you like Lucha Underground, you're a big fan of this episode. Like,
yeah. Lucha Underground is all the fuck over this episode.
You're right. It's good to have Phoenix back, and he was able to go to All In due to international travel issues or something they called it. Phoenix is one of those guys who has a charisma.
I thought they injured him before the.
But yeah, that was the storyline reason. But the real reason was international travel issues.
Ah.
I don't know what his passport was expired. Let's go back. Yeah, they did injure him though, but
Yeah.
that was sort of yeah. Phoenix is another one of these guys who has a certain charisma to him, and that makes you want to see him in the ring no matter what, and that's very valuable. Now find something for him either with or without his brother
Yes.
to do and capitalize on that charisma. This was an important backstage segment. FTR announced open challenge and tag team titles starting next week. This week had 2 open challenges for titles, and next week has a 3rd. That's getting to tournament and battle royal levels in this company. Up next in the Great Slam number 1 Contenders Tournament semifinal.
Yep.
In my match of the night, Roger Stroll defeated Darby Allin.
Yeah, I thought that it came down to like the 2 tournament matches at the end of the show, and I thought this one was the stronger one of the 2. I will say that the match sort of like made the beatdown beforehand of Darby Allin by Luchasaurus and Christian kind of pointless.
Oh yeah,
because he was still able to hold.
Worked almost 15 minutes
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Who's the Messiah of the backbreaker? So he's gonna do like a backbreaker at least a minute in his matches. And he got thrown headfirst into a garage door. So I mean, your spine wouldn't necessarily be all that great at this point. But yeah, it was a hell of a lot of fun while it happened.
Yeah, they were telling a good story here. As Darby started from behind, trying to start against crazy odds. As usual, Darby is able to pull people in and make you care about what he's doing, which is very difficult to do. The only reason I was a bit surprised at him losing was because of how long in the match he went after getting an attack.
Yeah.
At this point, and Ryan and Joe will be heel versus heel. But Ryan going forward does have some interest in that aspects. Good stuff here, as I said, Ryan showing what he can still do.
Yes.
Which is wrestle this week. Keith Lee is now Collider, according to his backstage segment. And he advises people to run in the coming weeks every time they get Keith Lee. Not playing.
Well, I also think that was not a Bray Wyatt too.
But yeah, that's it. Up next, Big Bill Ricky starts laid out the Brian Moxley. This is Big Bill Moxley at Dynamite, and then Ray Phoenix won the shots at Moxley.
Okay.
And the main event, Great Slam Double Contender Tournament semifinals, Samoa Joe defeated Penta El Zero Mendez.
I did think this was also a really good match. I'll say the least second strongest on Collision. But yeah, the ending was never really in doubt here, as Joe would just choke out Penta.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling this up nearly as much as the tournament just because of that reason. I think there was a chance for a banana peel type of slip up for him to lose.
Well,
Joe, you knew was going to the finals.
yeah.
And I almost smashed it 15 minutes, so this one I felt like they were trying to fill time a little bit to make Penn feel like he had Chase, but you knew that Joe was winning. Because I never bought Penn as a threat to beat Joe. Not a bad match. I just would be a little bit sure, maybe Penn would have been a little bit more believable.
Mm-hmm.
Over all that was in the tournament stuff to help here. Not fully invested into the new direction for Collision. There was a lot of wall I felt like throwing out their matches with 2 open challenges. Which the first one was good, the Moxley match was still. For titles making it the first part feel like Battle of the Belts though.
It did, yes.
The biggest problem was that most of them didn't feel really important, but rather that was just building for more important stuff down the line. And there's a good chance it's just a transition thing as they move on from the Punk stuff. So you do got a good time. But wasn't a society show, but it was still a good on show. Now, show the week. I luckily have 5 minutes to sort this out because I don't fully know, just because it really sucked. It's a disadvantage for us to do this show when Vince isn't in charge. Because you can only label it up to suck. At least. But there's not too much suck anymore.
Yeah.
Might be some things you don't like or don't agree with. but not too much to like hurt the show. So that's what makes it hard with more shows and less subject. As great as a viewer this though is, but
Yeah.
it really
If you
hurts.
try to pick your favorite show, it's a little harder now.
Yeah, it kind of makes this more awkward now.
I do have mine.
I'll just compliment passes. No. Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. 1,
Sorry for the awkward listeners.
2, 3. Raw.
Roll.
I think Raw was just as good as anything, and that's not even counting the Gunther Gable stuff at the end, which put it way over the top for me.
I thought Raw was just about as good as anything else this week. The Gunther and Gable match was my favorite match of the week, but it does feel like the Raw that every segment does have some sort of. There's no waste of time on Raw.
Yeah.
They're not in a transitional period on Raw where they are like so much with the SmackDown things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. In Raw, I'd probably say NXT or Collision. Will be the next two in terms of efficiency and stuff on this week. SmackDown and Impact are the latest two. So
Yeah.
this week.
Dynamite's even farther past.
For no,
You didn't say Dynamite.
they use it further pace.
Yeah, I put Dynamite just in last place, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I would say
For me.
for me it was a toss-up between Raw and NXT and Collision, but I edged it out with Raw just because of everything, the whole show in terms of efficiency. NXT and Collision were tight for second and third.
Mm-hmm.
Now though, for this, we'll be back on Friday with our Survivor Series retro reviews for Survivor Series apparently.
Yep.
No, not roll my eyes at which Survivor Series we got. We got a much better one. Apparently we're weeding them out now.
Yeah.
Before November this year.
Yeah, when October turns around, then we have to start doing Survivor Series. We can't do this one and the last one.
Came to 2013, thank God. Came to 2009. Came to 97, technically.
Sure.
Because we had that for our Save It pay-per-view. So
Which we may just give that as one.
no, I think we've done 97
I think we have.
or
Yeah.
at least one of us has.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually that won't be eligible anyway. So we're weeding them out. But yeah, that'll be Survivor Series 2009 review on Friday, and then we'll be back here next week with the weekly show reviews. Things should start selling down on the channel for now, because there's no more pay-per-views until
October 4th.
September 1st, September 30th, October 1st. That we did with No Mercy and Wrestle Dream. Oh, duh, I forgot that in the Collision. By the way, yes, for Brian Danielson is actually Jr. Wrestle Dream. So see you on Friday with Survivor Series.
See you then.
Bye.